Hello, I'm Kevin Benedict, Senior Analyst for Digital Transformation here at Cognizant. I want to thank you for joining us today. This is part of a series that we do called the Mobile Expert Interview Series, and I'm very excited today to have as my guest, Andy Shirey. You say it's Shirey or Shirey?
Shirey.
Shirey.
Yeah, most of the time people put the L in there and turn it into Shirley, but it's Shirey.
Shirey. Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us. Now, you are the Senior Product Manager for enterprise mobility company called OpenMarket. And I want to just take the opportunity to thank you again for joining us, and let's jump right into it. So, Andy, since this is a part of the enterprise mobility or the mobile enterprise mobility mobile expert series, what makes you an expert?
Well, thanks, Kevin, for having me and for calling me an expert. That's great. I've been fortunate enough to be in the mobile space for the past 15 years, and I've been both on the B2C side as well as the B2B side. Starting out on the kind of the mobile content and gaming side of things, and then over the past 5 years, I've been with OpenMarket, focused more on the enterprise space. So I think what's really been valuable for me is the opportunity to work with so many different businesses and see so many different use cases and really get an understanding of how things are evolving and what's working for people around mobile engagement today.
Well, that makes you an expert in my book. So
Great.
Where are you calling from today?
I'm at OpenMarket's headquarters here in Seattle, Washington.
All right. Well, you know, I moved from Seattle to come out here to Boise a number of years ago, and still very fond of the Northwest there. So how do you think the Seattle Seahawks are going to do this year?
I think we're in for another good season. The preseason's gone okay, 1 win, 1 loss, and we've got another game this weekend, so we'll see. But you know, things are looking good, and certainly the fan base here is pretty excited about the season. So we'll
all
see.
right, and you guys have the Mariners on a roll right now.
Yeah, Mariners are doing all right, and even the Seattle Sounders, the MLS team, they're doing really well too. So it's a good time to be a Seattle fan.
Oh man, so anything in Seattle's on a roll right now. So let's jump in and just let me ask this kind of direct question to you. There's a lot of mobility vendors out there. So let me ask, number one, what category do you guys identify yourself most with? You know, are you mobile security? Are you mobile application development platform? Are you mobile backend as a service? Are you an SDK for building apps and toolkits, things like that? Where do you see yourself play in that mix? So
our focus really is on mobile messaging. And we talk about how OpenMarket is helping businesses transform their business. What we mean by that is by using mobile messaging and our mobile engagement solutions to improve communications, to improve business processes, to enhance relationships with their audiences, and to create additional value for their customers or employees.
Okay. So there's a lot of vendors out there. What made you guys think the market needed more?
So what our customers look to us to deliver really is reach. You know, one of our key products is the ability to send an SMS globally. There is really no more ubiquitous communication tool, also one that everyone's familiar with. So right there, reach is a really important thing that we deliver. And then secondly, the ability to easily create different messaging campaigns and programs. So without the need for our customers to do additional coding, we provide a platform and a tool set that allows them to easily create different use cases across different business groups, even within an organization, and easily deploy additional solutions.
So when I ask you about categories, it sounds like you guys have a different category than the 4 I mentioned. You're identifying mobile messaging as being independent of some of those. Is that how am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, a little bit. So a lot of times when we at OpenMarket, when we start talking about mobile engagement, people jump right into mobile apps, and we're really complementary to mobile apps. So it's another form of reach. So I may use a mobile app for a very rich user experience, or for power users or people that are, you know, my most loyal customers. But I may also offer some messaging capabilities for people who aren't quite ready to commit to the app yet, or don't have a smartphone, but I still want to create a relationship with them. I still want to provide some value to that customer or an employee. Then mobile messaging becomes a great channel for me to look at.
So for those that might be stumped by some of your terminology, let's talk about what mobile messaging means to you guys. Why don't you, give us your perspective?
So our customers are using mobile messaging, and what I mean by that is primarily SMS messaging, text messaging, MMS, multimedia messaging, or push notifications to reach their audience for a variety of use cases. And let me give you some examples. So it could be something on the sales and marketing side to deliver a coupon or information about a new product release. It could be on the customer care side of things to answer questions that a customer might text in, like I'm having a problem with something. It could be on the HR side of things, so an employee notification or some information that I need to send out. Security and IT, a lot of companies using one-time password being sent via SMS for a two-factor authentication login scenario. So there's a number of different use cases that companies are using messaging to solve for.
Okay, so the message itself would typically be linked to some digital asset, I imagine.
It may or it may not. The message may be the whole thing. So let me use an example. I'm familiar with Alaska Airlines. They have a very successful mobile application. They also have a very successful mobile messaging side of their business. So for their customers who don't use their mobile app but still are interested in flight delay information or a gate change or other travel logistics information, they can send an SMS message to them, and that person gets that information, which the information is obviously very valuable. Now, they may also add a link in there to download their app. Of course, they're trying to drive more business to their mobile app as well. But for the people who just want that information about the gate change, for example, they're very happy to receive that via an SMS message.
Got it. So do you see, is SMS a growth market, or is it the tail end of is it the laggers in the market that just haven't got mobile applications, or how do you see it? Do you see there's just been a lot more potential out there?
Yeah, where we see the growth is in the A to P side of SMS, so the application to peer side. On the peer-to-peer side of SMS, we see things like the OTT apps like WhatsApp, Line, WeChat. That's taking a lot of that peer-to-peer traffic. But for enterprises on the application-to-peer side, we see a lot of growth. We see them leveraging that communication channel to build relationships and provide information, valuable information to their audiences.
So when you say peer-to-peer, are you referring to human-to-human or app-to-app?
Human-to-human.
Okay.
So you and I sending text messages, we can still do that. In fact, we probably would, because we don't have a relationship beyond kind of our work thing. I don't know you're on WhatsApp yet. As we develop our relationship, we might both invite each other to WhatsApp.
So there's a progression of social interactions there.
Yeah, absolutely. We see the same.
So at what level do I have to get to be, a really close friend?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Look, we don't know each other that well. We're just going to SMS, okay?
Right. You have very low commitment there.
Very good. Now that's really interesting. So how do you see? So you talk about some kind of consumer-facing, but where would you see some real practical use of this kind of technology, the mobile messaging technology within the enterprise?
We see enterprises doing a wide variety of use cases. So internally, we see them using them for emergency alerts. So especially global companies that might have employees spread around the world. Those employees may turn off their data sometimes when they're roaming because they don't want the additional charges. But if there's an emergency situation, an SMS can reach somebody anywhere. So we see that as a common use case. I mentioned using it for 2FA for sending a one-time password. That's another very common use case. Marketing use cases, a lot of customer care use cases. So we've got an additional interesting one around kind of a business operations where a company that fulfills contact lens prescriptions, their customers can actually take the photo of the prescription and text the picture or the prescription in and have the order filled and their prescription contacts sent back to them. So it's kind of just up to the creativity of these companies to think of ways to use this channel. Obviously we see a lot of examples, but there's no shortage of them.
So I'm thinking through this now. You and I can text. My kids all text. Yep. So it's not the texting that has the value. There must be some really sophisticated tools and workflows and management behind the scenes. Why don't you pull back the curtains and let us see what's back there?
Sure. There's a couple things that add value for a company working with OpenMarket. One is the reach. So it is a challenge. You and I can send a message back and forth to each other, but if I want to send a message to 5,000 different people, I have to have a connection to whatever carriers they may have. So OpenMarket provides a single technical integration to reach the world in terms of messaging. Then on top of that, we add a service layer that allows people to do some intelligent messaging. So when should the message be sent? Is there any decisioning that needs to go around? So did you send me a message first asking for something and I need to intelligently give you a response? So we provide a service layer on top that provides that extra value that makes it a smart and a valuable message to the end user.
Got it. My colleagues here at Cognizant in the Center for the Future Work have just published a book that widely published called Code Halos. Code Halos really refers to the data that all of us have around us and that companies can use to make context-sensitive communication with us so that they can hyper-personalize our experience. Have you guys been able to get into there where you have your messaging is context-aware or geo-fenced or things like that, where it's really giving you some sophistication in the messaging going out?
Yeah, we've got a really neat example of that with an airline that we're working with. So at the airport, when I arrive and I go through my check-in process, after that process, of course, the airline knows that I've checked in, and they're actually sending out a quick 3-question survey about my experience going through through the check-in process. And what they're doing is not only getting valuable feedback on how that process is, getting to the gate, but if you've had a bad experience, they're notifying someone at the gate or on board who can come over and say, hey, Kevin, we understand you had some difficulty, getting your luggage checked or whatever the case may be. I'd like to offer you a complimentary, drink coupon for the flight, or is there something I can do to help, remedy this situation? So they're using the context aware that you've just checked in. The fact that when you get an SMS message, 90% of us read it in like 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. So they know you're going to see it and react to it, and then they're providing an opportunity for them to help remedy a situation immediately while it's still fresh in the custo's mind. So
very good. So you've been in the industry for 15 years. How have how has this market that you're in changed over the past 24 months?
Wow. There's been a tremendous amount of change. Of course, everybody knows. Hard to pick one thing, but from our perspective at OpenMarket, we've seen a tremendous acceleration in this A2P messaging space. We've seen the ability to reach customers become really important. The ability to complement what's going on with a company's mobile application. On the messaging side, we've seen a lot of growth around that. So, yeah, it's a pretty dynamic space, obviously.
Very good. So I recently wrote a 10-page paper on mobile banking and the latest developments in that particular space. And there's a lot of discussion around mobile messaging within banking, especially in the less developed countries. You guys get involved in any of that kind of stuff?
We do a bit of payments business, quite a bit actually in the UK right now, quite a bit around charities. So cancer research, comic relief, they have a variety of big charities that most of us have heard of, and they do a tremendous amount of donation where They'll have a call to action during one of their TV programs or online or in print with the call to action to send a text message into a particular code, and doing so then would debit that person's account, £5, £10, whatever it might be. That's been a really successful way for people to donate and give to these causes. That's very low impact. They don't have to give up credit card information. It's very spontaneous. That's been a big success. And in the UK as well, we've seen quite a bit of activity around entertainment programs, Big Brother and other contests and games online that people can take part in, and that's been a big success. We haven't played in the money transfer space at all, so that's kind of outside of our realm.
Got it. So, what's your target market? What kind of companies fits right in the sweet spot of your target market?
We're looking to work with global enterprises. So, right today we count probably 4 of the top 10 global brands as customers, and those folks provide a lot of great validation for what we're doing because they continue to roll out additional programs. But we're really looking to help these enterprises reach their audience and develop those relationships.
Now, when I was doing some research on your company, it looked like there was some kind of development tools or software development kit or drag and drop kinds of stuff. Talk to me about that.
We have what's called our mobile engagement platform. So kind of sitting on top of the pipes, if you will, the ability to send a text message is this development framework, our mobile engagement platform. And that's what allows people to easily set up these programs. So whether it be developing a 2FA program or a quick customer survey or sending out a coupon, so on and so forth, I can get a business analyst to sit in front of this interface and design a program without additional dev resources getting involved. So it's been a big differentiator for us. Once we deploy at a customer, we do our initial integration, and then that tool set then allows them to scale solutions across their organization very easily.
Got it. So Andy, it just occurred to me when on my Apple device here, there's Apple messaging. Does that cause problems, or how do you guys interact with that?
Actually, no, it doesn't. Of course, we're able to send messages to iPhones as well as any other device. So today there's no issues for us in reaching any device.
Got it. So if you were to put on an analyst hat there and look to predict where your particular market's going in the next few years, what do you see in the next 12 months happening to your marketplace?
I see certainly continuation of deployment of these types of messaging programs. They're very easy to deploy. The cost versus benefit is amazing, especially when you compare to what it costs to deploy and develop a mobile app. But I also see more joining of the sort of CIO and CMO to help make technology decisions, especially around mobile, that are able to be utilized across the whole organization. So I would say, looking back 12 months, we've seen a lot of mobile engagement technology solutions being driven by individual business departments, which of course leads to some fragmentation in the solution, and the IT guys hate it because they've got to do multiple integrations. Looking forward, I think businesses are going to look to consolidate and look for solutions, mobile engagement solutions that they can use more broadly across their organization.
Got it. So what technologies are competing with mobile messaging today? Is it apps versus mobile messaging, or do you see integrated campaigns just simply complementing each other? How does that work?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't say we're in competition with these other channels. I think each channel seems to have its nuances and its benefits, and so an app that delivers an amazingly rich experience, although it's challenging to get people to download, and there's discoverability, I got to learn about it. Messaging doesn't have as rich of an experience, but I can reach everybody. Everybody knows how to use it. It's very easy to deploy. So I think the channel you choose needs to have solve the right objective for the business and solve the right goal for the end user, and then whichever channel fits that need the best, that's the one we go with.
Got it. So Andy, one of the hottest trends that seem to be at all the conferences and all the the hype right now is the Internet of Things.
Yeah.
How do you guys approach that? Is there anything that you're doing that touches on that, or are they separate categories?
We do see an opportunity there for mobile messaging and the Internet of Things. So there are going to be so many connected things in our lives, and ultimately none of us are going to want to have 1,000 apps on our phone to control them all. So messaging becomes a very common and ubiquitous way to get information about those connected devices. Many times we don't care what's going on with the connected device, but when something's wrong, we do want to be notified that I need to make a decision. That my refrigerator is at 60 degrees. I need to humanly make a decision about what I'm going to do. At that point, getting a text message, for example, is a great way to alert me, and I can decide what to do from there. So we do.
With your engagement platform, theoretically, you could then respond to an alert message and send a message back to your security system or your refrigerator or your HVAC system to actually alter things, I imagine.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. And we see some of that. We see some of that today already with some of the programs we do around people confirming appointments or two-way engagements that are intelligent.
Oh man, there's a never-ending list of possibilities there. Well, Andy, one of the questions I'd really like to wrap up our interview here with is to have you estimate for our viewers here, how many wireless devices do you have in your home?
Okay, I would say I probably have about a dozen wireless devices. Now that said, I like to test out new devices, and I'm a bit gadgety, but I would say my go-to devices really are my laptop and my phone, and the rest are somewhat toys.
Got it. Well, Andy, good luck with all your Seattle teams there, and thank you so much for sharing your insight and experience with all of us today.
Great. Thanks very much, Kevin. I appreciate your time, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.